We'll come down onto our back to get started. Draw our shoulders back and down. And before we do any movement, we'll just take a moment to notice our breath, beginning to breathe in through the nose and exhaling. And then we'll begin to deepen our inhalation. We can place our hands onto our lower belly. And as we take our next inhale, we'll notice our belly expand, filling up our lungs, our throat. And then exhaling, letting all the air go. Continuing to let each inhalation get longer than the last. Allowing each exhale to linger. We'll step our feet wide. We'll bring our arms out to a T. We're going to do windshield wipers as we inhale. Just let the knees fall to one side. And then slowly rocking to the other edge of our feet, dropping our knees to the other side. Let's continue to move with our breath, inhaling to one side and exhaling to the other. And the next time the knees are centered, we'll hug our knees into our chest, gently rock the knees side. Taking our right knee in, we'll take our left foot to the floor. We can stay here, or for a deeper stretch, we'll take the left leg straight. Let the left leg be heavy, relax the shoulders. We'll come back to our breath. And then we'll release the right knee. We'll draw the left knee in. And same as the other side, we can either keep the right knee bent or take the right leg straight. And then we'll release, we'll bend the knees, we'll set the feet hip distance, shoulders down the back. We're gonna flow in and out of bridge pose. So as we take our next inhale, we'll lift our tailbone off the mat, slowly rising up one vertebrae at a time. And then as we exhale, we'll slowly lower down. Continue to move with our breath, rooting our feet into the floor, keeping our weight even in both legs. And then the next time our hips find the mat, we'll hug our knees into our chest. We'll lift our shoulders, tuck our chin, and start to rock forward and back, beginning to roll like a ball, massaging our back. And then the next time we're up, we'll come over to all fours, line our knees under hips, our wrists under our shoulders, spread our fingers wide. We'll flow through cat cow. As we exhale, we'll begin to round our spine, dropping our tail, dropping our head. And then inhaling, we'll lift our chest, lift our tail, let our belly hammock towards the floor. We'll continue to move with our breath. And then we'll return to a neutral spine. We'll come to a wide knees child's pose. We'll take our knees to the width of the mat, big toes touch, send our hips towards our heels, reaching our arms forward, resting our forehead to the floor, coming back to our deep breath. Adding a side stretch, we'll walk our hands over to the right, sinking into the left hip, breathing into the left ribs. And then we'll walk our hands over to the left, finding a stretch to the right side, sinking into the right hip, breathing into the right ribs. And then we'll walk our hands centered. We'll come back to all fours, bring our knees under our hips, and start to engage our core, drawing our belly button towards our spine. We're going to set up spinal balance. So we'll take the right leg back straight, pressing back through the right heel. And then we'll take our left arm long, keeping our right elbow soft. And then we'll add movement here as we take our next exhale, start to push the floor away as you round the back, bringing the elbow and knee towards each other. And then inhaling, coming back to our flat back, we'll reach the arm, reach the leg. Exhaling, rounding, scooping in, strong core. We'll flow through 3 more. We'll set up the other side, sending the left leg back straight, pressing back to the left heel. We'll take the right arm long. And on our next exhale, we'll round our spine, bring our elbow and knee towards each other. Inhale, lengthen and reach. Continue to flow for 4 more. And then we'll come back to all fours. We're going to walk our way out to a kneeling plank with our wrists underneath our shoulders and our shoulders down our back. As we take our next exhale, we'll slowly lower all the way down to the floor. Keeping our legs heavy, we'll start to lift the chest, drawing our shoulders back, coming into baby cobra. On our exhale, we'll pick our belly button up first, push the mat away, keep the hands where they are as we stretch the hips back to active child's pose. This is our kneeling vinyasa. We'll continue to move with our breath. Inhaling, kneeling plank. Exhaling, we'll slowly lower. Inhaling, we'll lift the chest, baby cobra. Exhaling, active child's pose. We'll flow through 2 more times. Inhaling, kneeling plank. Exhaling, slowly lowering. Inhaling, strong back as we lift our chest, baby cobra. Exhaling, active child's pose. We'll flow through one more time, letting our breath be our guide. Our inhale sends us out. And then from active child's pose, we're going to curl the toes under, lift our hips up and back to downward facing dog. We'll start to pedal our heels. We're making the shape of an upside down V. We're pushing the floor away. We're letting our neck relax. Our head is heavy. And anytime we need to, we can drop the knees and come into an active child's pose instead of down dog, honoring our energy levels today. We'll start to find stillness in our down dog. We'll bend the knees a lot and focus on lengthening our spine. And then just allow the legs to straighten as much as they can. If you're feeling a stretch in the hamstrings, you're doing fine. We'll press our heels towards the floor. Take one more breath here. And then we'll step our feet to our hands to forward fold. With a bend in our knees, we'll start to lift our chest as we come up tall to mountain pose, rising up to stand, sweeping our arms up overhead. And exhaling, hands to heart center. You can pause here, rock forward on our heels. We'll rock forward onto the balls of our feet and then back onto the heels, forward and back. We'll make this simplest move as complicated as possible. And then let both legs be heavy. We'll take our next inhale, sweep the arms up. We're gonna do a half standing series. As we exhale, we'll hinge forward from our hips, coming to forward fold. Bend the knees any amount to let the hands find the floor. On our inhale, we're gonna lift our chest, finding a flat back. Our hands can rest to our shins. Then as we exhale, we'll bend the knees, soften back into our forward fold. Rooting the feet into the floor, inhaling, rising tall to mountain. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Continuing to flow, inhale, arms sweep up. Exhaling, swan diving, forward fold. Inhaling, we'll halfway lift, flat back, straight legs. Exhaling, softening into our fold. Rooting our feet into the floor, inhaling, rising tall to mountain. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep up. We'll flow through one more time. Exhaling, swan diving, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift, flat back, straight legs. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, rising tall to mountain, sweeping our arms overhead. Exhaling, hands to heart center. We're going to flow chair and mountain pose. For chair, we'll bend our knees. Our weight is in our heels as we lower. As we inhale, we'll sweep the arms out, coming back to mountain pose. Moving with our breath, exhaling chair. Inhaling mountain. And then the next time we're in chair pose, we're going to pause here, let our tailbone be heavy, find a tall spine. And we're going to begin to twist. So as we twist, we'll turn to the right. And you can stop part way and put one hand to your hip and one hand to your knee. If you want to go lower, you can bring the left elbow to the thigh, bring the palms together. We'll take one more breath here. And then we'll release to forward fold. Inhale, rise tall to mountain. And then we're going to come back to our chair and mountain flow. Exhaling, bending the knees, weight in our heels. Inhaling, rising tall. Next time we're in chair, we'll pause here. Breathing in, we'll find our tall spine. And as we take our next exhale, we'll begin to twist to the left. Option to place one hand to the hip and one hand to the knee, or bring the right elbow to the thigh. Press the palms together. We'll take one more breath here. And then we'll release to forward fold. Inhaling, we'll rise tall to mountain. And exhaling, hands to heart center. And then we'll step wide on our mat, or if you have your mat long ways, keep your right foot forward and step your left foot back so that your right toes point to the short edge of the mat, left toes point to the long edge, arms come out to a T. And then we'll add a side stretch. Drop the back arm, reverse warrior. We'll sweep the right arm up and back. And on our next exhale, we'll float a side angle. We'll gently rest our forearm to our thigh. And with our top arm, we'll start to reach up. You can stay here, or we can start to bring the bicep near the ear. Long line of energy out to the fingertips, out to the back foot. We'll come back to warrior two. For triangle pose, we'll straighten the right knee, reaching past our right toes. We'll bring our right hand to our shin, reach our left hand to the sky. And if the neck feels good, we can look up towards the ceiling. Then soften in the knees, strong core. We'll come back tall, bring our hands to heart center. If you're facing forward, you can step back to the mat, keep the left foot forward, or long edge, turn the left toes to the back edge of the mat. Then the left knee to stack over the ankle. Arms out to a T for warrior two. Then reverse warrior, we'll drop the back arm, sweep the left arm up and back. And then side angle, we'll bring our forearm to our thigh, sweep the top arm up. You can stay here or turn the palm, bring the bicep near the ear. We'll come back to warrior two, bring our shoulders back over our hips. We'll straighten the left knee, reaching past the left toes. Bring one hand to our shin, one hand reaches to the sky. Maybe lift up. Then soften the knees, strong core. We'll come back tall. And then we'll turn the toes so that we face the long edge of the mat. We'll bring our hands to our hips, start to hinge forward from our hips, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. As we bring our hands to the floor, we can let our head drop heavy. You can play with shifting the weight of your feet into the balls of your feet, still keeping your heels on the floor. See how that feels. I'll take 3 more breaths here. And then we're going to add a twist. So first we want to lengthen our spine. We're going to come up halfway, find our flat back with our chest lifted. Left fingertips stay to the floor. We'll start to sweep the right arm towards the sky. And we'll take 2 breaths here. And on our next exhale, we'll bring our right hand to the floor. And on our inhale, we'll sweep our left arm to the sky. bring the left hand back to the floor. We're going to heel toe our feet towards each other. And then bend the knees. Inhale, rise tall to mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll meet at the top edge of our mat. And we'll go through some of our warrior one poses. We'll keep the right foot forward. Step the left foot back flat. And then bend the right knee. And then we'll start to sweep the arms up towards the sky. If the shoulders are feeling tired, you can bend the elbows, come to cactus arms instead, or just allow the arms to relax. And then we'll add a chest expansion. We're either going to squeeze the hands towards each other, or if they reach, we'll interlace the fingers and draw the shoulders back and down. We'll take 2 breaths here. And we'll come back neutral, bring our hands to our hips. We'll straighten the right knee. We're going to come into pyramid pose. We're folding over the right leg. We can bring our hand to our shins, or bring our hands to our shin, or bring our fingertips to the floor. Allow the head to drop. You can think of drawing the right hip back, feeling a stretch through the back of the right thigh. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And if you want to play with your balance, we're going to try standing splits. We're going to walk our fingertips forward, creating a tripod with that right leg, and then just float the left foot off the floor. See how you feel. If you want to continue to move into standing splits, point the toes, start to take the toes towards the ceiling, imagining pointing the toes straight up to the sky. Let the head drop heavy. And notice I said imagine. I think only dancers can do that. We'll take 1 more inhale here. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring the left foot to meet the right and forward fold. We'll bend the knees a lot. Inhale, rise tall to mountain. Sweep our arms up towards the sky. And exhale, hands to heart side. We'll take those poses to the other side, keeping our left foot forward, stepping our right foot back. We'll bend the left knee, and then option to sweep the arms up. Steadying our gaze, coming back to our breath. And then adding chest expansion, we'll drop the arms, squeeze the hands towards each other. If they can reach, we'll interlace, make the opposite thumb come on top. Then draw the shoulders down. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And we'll release. We'll bring our hands to our hips, setting up pyramid pose. We'll straighten the left leg. Hinging forward from our hips, we'll fold over the left leg, bringing our hands to our shins, or to the floor. Let the head drop heavy. And we'll walk our hands forward, test out our balance on the left side, floating the right foot off the floor, and then option to point the right toes, taking the right toes towards the ceiling. On our next exhale, we'll let the right foot meet the left in forward fold. Soften the knees. Inhale, rise tall to mountain. And exhale, hands to heart center. And then we're going to set up our tree pose. We're going to find a soft knee on our right leg and let our left foot be a kickstand. Lengthen out through the crown of the head, let the shoulders relax. Then testing our balance, we'll lift our toes. If we're ready to lose our kickstand, we can bring our foot to our ankle or to our calf. And only if we're feeling steady here, we can add on, maybe reaching the arms to the branches, or we can be just breathing as we balance. And on our next exhale, we'll release. We can circle that right ankle. And then we'll set up on the other side, soft bend in the knee. Hands to heart center, focusing our gaze. We can bring our foot to our ankle or calf. And when we feel steady here, we will grow branches. One more inhale here. And we'll exhale, release. We'll step to the top edge of our mat, inhaling, sweeping the arms up. And then exhaling, we're going to swan dive to ragdoll. So as we lower, we'll bend the knees a lot, let our belly find our thighs, cradle our arms, and sway side to side. Now we're going to place our hands to the floor. We're going to step back to one more downward facing dog. Pressing our heels towards the floor, lifting our tailbone towards the sky, pushing the mat away. Let the head drop heavy. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here. And as we take our next exhale, we'll slowly lower our knees to the floor. We're going to come up into camel pose. So we're going to be in a kneeling position. We're going to bring our fists to either side of our tailbone. And then finding a stretch to the chest, we'll start to squeeze the elbows towards each other and open the chest towards the ceiling. You can either continue to look straight ahead or begin to peek up towards the ceiling. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And we'll slowly come back neutral and then sink our hips towards our heels to child's pose. We can either reach the arms out or bring our arms down by our side. We'll take several deep breaths here. We'll start to bring ourselves up seated, untuck our feet, bring our legs out in front. We're going to set up boat pose. We'll hold on to the back of our thighs, find a tall spine. Engaging through the core, we'll rock off our sit bones. We can either continue to hold on or reach the arms. Shoulders are still down the back. We'll take 3 more breaths here. And on our next exhale, we'll lower our feet to the floor. We'll set up a twist. We'll draw the right knee in, take the left leg straight. With a tall spine, we'll start to take a twist, bringing our left hand to the outside of the knee, right hand behind us. And as we turn, we can gently look back, continuing to breathe into our twist. And on our next exhale, we'll slowly unwind. We'll take the right leg straight, draw the left knee in, breathing in, finding our tall spine. And then breathing out, taking our twist to the left, right hand up to the side, to the knee, left hand behind us. And then we'll unwind our twist. We'll scoot towards the bottom edge of the mat, making room to lower onto our back. We can send the arms long and slowly lower down, or get there any way that feels comfortable. We'll meet with knees to chest and rock side to side. Now we'll place our feet to the floor. We'll revisit bridge, this time to hold. Shoulders down the back, arms by our side. We'll lift our hips off the floor. Tailbones pointing towards the knees. We'll take about 5 deep breaths here. And then we'll slowly lower our hips to the floor. We'll take some windshield wipers, let go of any tension in the lower back, bring your knees to one side and the other. And we'll draw the knees back into our chest and then take our legs up straight for legs at the imaginary wall. Let our hips be heavy. We'll flex and point our feet. We'll circle the ankles one direction. And then we'll reverse. And then we're gonna come to happy baby. So we'll bend the knees, take the knees wide. We can either hold them to the back of our thighs. If they're within reach, we'll grab our ankles or our feet and sway side to side. And then we'll slowly lower our feet to the floor. We'll set up a figure four. We'll bring our right ankle in front of our left knee. This may feel like plenty, or we can begin to draw the left knee towards the chest, finding a stretch to the right leg, breathing into any space that feels tight. And then we'll release, uncross, bring the left ankle in front of the right knee, and draw the right knee towards the chest, coming back to our breath. And then we'll release, uncross. We'll drop our knees up to the side to butterfly, soles of the feet together. And then we'll draw the knees together. Bring our arms out to a T and stack our knees over our hips. And then dropping our knees over to the left, we can look up or to the right. And then looking back towards the ceiling, we'll lift the knees up and over to the other side, looking up forward to the left. Then we'll unwind our twist. We'll take our legs out straight, taking up as much space as we'd like. If our lower back feels tender, we may prefer to bend our knees and rest the knees together, or come into any position that you find more comfortable. We'll scan our body from head to toe, letting go of any tension, starting with the crown of our head, relaxing our forehead, softening our brow bone, letting our eyes drop to the back of our head, unclenching our jaw, letting our tongue fall heavy, letting go of any tension through the neck and shoulders, arms heavy, fingers soft. Breathing in, noticing the rise of our ribs. Breathing out, letting every rib bone go. Allowing our belly to soften, our hip sockets to relax and release. Muscles of the thighs letting go of the bone. Kneecaps drop, feet fall heavy. Noticing our breath take its natural pace, giving ourselves permission to rest. We'll wiggle our fingers, wiggle our toes, bring our awareness back into the room. Reaching our arms overhead, stretching out from head to toe. And then bending our knees, we'll turn to either side, leaving our corpse pose, turning over to newborn baby. And then we'll press ourselves up seated, find our spine. And as we take our next inhale, we'll sweep our arms up towards the sky. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Thank you for practicing with me. Happy full moon. Namaste.